Hey guys, this is Naveen Chahal and welcome to NSO classes. In today's video session, we are going to discuss about electricity. Now, today's video session is very important, and the term about which we are going to discuss is very important because we can say that each and every field in today's time is absolutely dependent on electricity. That is, we cannot imagine our life for a single while without the effect of electricity, or we can say that without electricity, our today's life is very complicated. Okay, because electricity is the term which make our day-to-day life easy, because in every field we are depending on this term electricity. We can say that, or fuel stations, electric fans, ACs, cooler, room heater, that means everything is depending on electricity in today's time. So the concept of electricity cannot be ignored in our day-to-day life or in today's time. So, we are going to discuss about electricity in today's lecture. So, before proceeding to electricity, we have to know about an important term, that is charge. That is, charge is very important to understand the concept of electricity. So, before going to charge, let us discuss something about this mass. So, mass is nothing but mass is the property of any material due to which a gravitational force or pull exert between them. Or we can say that mass is nothing but mass is, is a property of objects due to which gravitational force rise between them. There are masses, then absolutely an a gravitational pull exert or rise between the masses. That means each and every object in the universe attract another object. Clear or not? If there are two objects, they are attracting towards each other by a gravitational pull. Why? But why they can't stick? If I release these objects, they are falling towards the center of the earth. Now, why they are not sticking like this? Okay, so the effect is that, or we can say the reason is that there is a large mass, that is earth, and this is the center of the earth. We can say that this is the radius of the earth. We are lying on the surface of the earth. If we can say that this is small m and this is capital M, we consider that the whole of the mass is placed at the center of the earth. That is the core part of the earth. Whole of the mass is placed at the center of the earth. Okay, now what is the gravitational pull? That is Fg equals to, between this small m, we can see that everybody, each and everybody, we can say that anybody, this small m is anybody, and this capital M is mass of the earth. Then the gravitational force between that is g into mass, small mass, the object, and the capital mass, the earth, upon the square of the distance between them. Clear or not? Similarly, this r is very large as compared to if another object, this is m1 on the surface, and this is the distance between the two particles. For example, this is m, this is m1. Now the distance between them, this distance is very small. Clear? And also the masses are very small, the magnitude of the masses are very small, so this force is very small in case of these two objects as compared to the force between this earth mass and the object mass. So we can say that the force between the two particles, like this, between these particles or these objects, can be ignored as compared to the force between the earth and these two objects individually. So we can say that the force of gravitation pull of earth on each and every object is very large as compared to the forces of gravitation between the another objects. Okay, now the main thing is that the mass is the property of an object due to which gravitational force rise between them. It is an intrinsic property of elementary particles like electrons, protons, etc. We are basically dealing with electrons. And why? We will discuss about it also. Okay, it is an intrinsic property of elementary particles due to which an electric force rise between them. Okay, now mass is the property due to which gravitational force rise between the objects. Similarly, likewise, this charge is also a property due to which electric force rise between elementary particles. If there are two electrons, if there is a proton and neutron, sorry, proton and electron, then there is an electric force rise between them. The difference is that the force here is always of attractive nature, but about the nature of the force, we are not going to discuss about it like right now. The force of attraction, there may be a force. I simply write that this is attractive or repulsive. This is the main difference. Clear? Here the gravitational pull is always attractive nature, but here the electric force that can be attractive or repulsive nature. This is another difference between the two. Okay, now forget about it. We are going to discuss about charges. Okay, now this is charge. Charge is the property due to which electric force rise between the objects, or we can say that elementary particles. Okay, now types. After experimentations, it was found that charges are of two kinds. One is positive charge and another is negative charge. One is positive charge and another is negative charge, like this. Okay, now what now atomic theory tells that for every atom in the universe, for atomic theory tells that for an atom, number of electrons are equal to number of protons, that is atom is electrically neutral, or we can say that no charge or zero charge, that is in neutral state, or we can say that atom has zero charge. This is nucleus and electrons are revolving about the nucleus in particular orbits, like this. And these electrons are filled by the formula 2n square. Is it fine or not? Okay. Now according to atomic theory, the number of protons equals to number of electrons, and by convention we have experimentally proved that or theoretically proved that charge on electron is of negative kind and of proton is of positive kind. Clear? But their magnitude is same, we can say that electrically the atom is neutral. Okay, because number of electron equal to number of protons, and charge on electron and protons are of different kind but of same magnitude. Clear or not? So electrical atom is neutral, but from where the charge is comes? We are discussing about charge. If atom is electrically neutral, then charge, where is charge? Okay, now let me discuss some important terms. Ionization energy. This is very important term. Now there are electrons which are revolving surrounding this nucleus. Uh, there is a term that is ionization energy. Now in this atom, electrons are revolving around the nucleus in particular orbits. Now, as electrons are revolving around the nucleus in particular orbits, okay, by supplying some amount of energy, it is possible to eject out electrons from the outermost cell. Outermost cell, that means uh, as the electrons, or we can say that electrons move outward, or we can say that the radius of the atom is increased, the distance between the electrons and the nucleus is going on increasing, and due to which the force of attraction between the nucleus and the electron is decreasing. As the distance between the nucleus and the electron is going on increasing, the force between them is going on decreasing, due to which it is easier to eject, or we can say that remove an electron from the outermost cell. Okay, now the for doing that thing we need some energy, and that energy is called ionization energy, or we can say that it is the minimum energy required to eject out an electron from outermost orbit. Clear or not? So some energy is required to eject the electron from the outermost cell. It is clear that by supplying some amount of energy, we can eject an electron from the outermost cell, or we can say that from an atom. Now, another thing is that now charges, there are some important points. Charges are represented by small q or capital Q. The SI unit of electric charge or charge have the same meaning, is coulomb. That charge is a scalar quantity. Charge is a scalar quantity because for addition of charges, simple laws of additions are followed. So charge is a scalar quantity, or we can say that charge does not have a particular direction. What are static and frictional charge? Okay, to make clear the concept of this static charge and frictional charge, I have some paper pieces in my hand. I have some paper pieces in my hand. Okay, now there is a no force of attraction between the pen and these paper pieces. Now, from then why we call this frictional charge? Now I rub this pen in my dry hairs like this. After rubbing that, there is a magic. You can see here, this pen attracts the small paper pieces. We can say that this pen attracts the pieces of these small pieces. You can see here like huh? This pen attracts the small paper pieces. This is very interesting concept. Okay, make it clear. Okay, now there is a charge developed on this pen, due to which it attracts the small paper pieces. This is a very simple and very clear demonstration of frictional charge. That means if I rub this portion from the dry hair, then the paper of pieces are attracted from this part, not from this part. It means that the charge developed on this end is not moved towards the other end. It means that the charge developed is static charge. Is it clear? Not if I rub this end with dry hair, then this end is capable in attracting the small pieces, not the this end, not this end. Is it fine or not? It means that this frictional charge, the charge developed on the object due to the friction, clear, is called frictional charge and of static nature. So we can say that this is also known as static charge, or by definition we can say that a charge developed on an object due to the friction with another object is called frictional charge or static charge. I hope it is clear now. Okay, now what happens that during the rubbing, or we can say that what happens when we rub two objects, a charge developed. But we know that this pen is electrically neutral because when it is not rubbed, it is not able to attract the paper pieces. Clear? But when we rub it, it is able to attract the paper pieces. That means something has happened during the friction, or we can say that rubbing. Okay, what will happen here? Due to the rubbing, if this is the pen, or we can say plastic object, P for plastic, and there are dry hairs. When we rub these two things together, a charge developed. But why? As we know that every atom is electrically neutral because number of electron equal to number of proton. But according to the theory of electrification, it was experimentally proved that during during rubbing of two objects, if we can say that these are dry hairs and this is a plastic object, during the charging process, there are some exchange of electrons, or we can say that some heat is evolved during the friction, because we know that when we rub our hands, there is a heat produced, and heat is a form of energy. That means that it was concluded that when two objects are rubbed together, heat is produced within the object, and that heat energy is sufficient, or we can say that that is the form of ionization energy, due to which electrons are removed from one body and they are captured by another body. Is it fine or not? Because the two objects are of different kind, that means their ionization energies are also different. We can say that this is ionization energy of plastic and this is ionization energy of dry hair. Because the objects are of different kind, that they have their different ionization energies. Clear or not? If the ionization energy of plastic, we can say that is greater than, I just assumed that if the ionization energy of plastic is greater than ionization energy of dry hair, it means that electrons are removed from their outer or most orbit and they are captured by the plastic objects. Is it fine or not? Because they both are in contact during the rubbing. That means during the rubbing of this pen and these dry hairs, a heat energy is formed, and that is sufficient to eject out the electrons from one atom whose ionization energy is very small. Or we can say that if the ionization energy of dry hair is less, then electrons are removed from here and they are captured by this plastic object, because its ionization energy is very strong. Ionization energy is strong means the nucleus electron interaction is very strong. That means the force between the electron and the nucleus is very strong. That means the ejected electrons are captured by this plastic object. Okay. And further, because I said electrons are removed from here, why I said that? Experimentally, it was proved that the charge developed on the dry hairs is positive and plastic object is always negative. Clear or not? And why I said that electrons are removed from here? Let me clear one more thing about it. If there are two objects A and B, clear? If A and B are two objects, initially number of electrons equals to number of protons, and here also electron equals to number of proton, and we can say that both A and B are neutral and charge 0. We can say that charge is 0 because electron is equal to proton, because electron have and proton are of same different kind but of same magnitude. Clear? That means charge is 0. But now rub A and B. Now A and B are rubbed. Clear? Now due to rubbing, electrons are, we can say that electrons are removed from A and they are captured by B. Assumed that some electrons are removed from A. Why electrons are removed from A? I imagine that ionization energy of A is less than ionization energy of B. That means small energy is required to eject the electron of this orbit. Is it fine or not? Clear? And these electrons are captured by the neighboring atom, that is B. Now after bring, what happens? Here electron and protons are in equilibrium, or we can say that in balance form in both the cases A and B. But here what happens? Electrons are removed from A. It means that some electrons are less now. Some electrons are removed from it. That means that electrons are less than protons in case of A. Clear? But in case of B, electrons are added here. So this equality becomes an inequality. That means that electrons are more here now. Electrons are more and protons are less. It means that now there is an imbalance form of electron and proton, and due to this inequality, this electron has a negative charge and this proton has a positive charge. We know positive is greater as compared to this negative sign. So this object acquire a positive charge. Clear or not? Now here negative is more than the positive. It means that there is a negative charge developed on the object. It means that positive and negative is nothing, but a body acquires a total positive charge if it has lakh number of electrons as compared to protons. But similarly, if a body have excess of electrons, then it will acquire a net negative charge. So negative and positive charge are nothing, but it is the excess amount of electron or protons. Okay, now this is the theory of electrification, nothing else. I hope it is understood and it is clear to all of you. Okay, then I hope it is clear to all of you. Now, in today's lecture, we have discussed about charge and why charges are developed on objects. So, it is a very basic concept, and these concepts are very important to make a strong base. Okay, so in our next lecture, we will discuss about the properties of charges. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys, and please keep supporting, guys, and keep share with your friends. So, see you in next class. Have a good day to all of you.